back to Stitching Big Things with Hallie. I'm Hallie. Thanks so much for joining me today. Today is Friday, August 1st, 2025. How has everybody been? It's been 3 weeks since I have seen you. Last week, I just didn't have enough stitching and I just had some other things going on. So I thought, okay, let's go one more week. We'll be at the end of July and we can do an end of July kind of recap as we head into August. If you are new and joining us for the first time, thank you so much. Welcome. This is a channel about cross stitch, so hopefully you are in the right place. If you are a returning friend, thank you so much for spending your time here with me. What has been happening? Lots has been going on since the last time I've seen you. We took a family trip home. I and my husband kind of grew up in the central Illinois area. And so that's where our parents are, most of our extended family. And so they're maybe an hour and 15 minutes apart. So it's convenient when we go back, we can go back and see everybody. So we did that. We took about 5 days and went and spent a couple days at one place and a couple days at the other. It was wonderful. Got to see quite a few family members, people I haven't seen in years. Even just catching up with our parents, it was really, really good. So quite needed, quite enjoyable, all the things. So we had that. And then just a few days ago, Bryce, our third son, and his girlfriend are on their way to a vacation with some of her family in Mississippi, and so they swung down here and stayed with us for a couple days down here just to connect. We haven't seen him all summer. He's been up doing an internship up in Missouri where he goes to college, and so of course we talk to him every day. We FaceTime him multiple times a day, but it was nice to be able to hug him and to see Peyton and spend some time and make some memories here. So there's been a lot of activity in and out. We've been out, we've had people in, and there has been a fair amount of stitching, but I'll tell you what, when I looked at my monthly July numbers, it's the lowest of this year and certainly the lowest for a while. And that's okay. I had a number of days of no stitching where either I was recovering, I was tired, I was busy doing other things. I've done quite a bit of reading lately, and we will spend some time talking about that. So we're gonna go over monthly numbers. Of course, we're gonna go over WIPS today. I have some books that I want to recommend to you guys. I have a bag that I want to show that finally came in. I had ordered it back in April and it was a custom bag and it finally came in. So I want to share that with you. So we have lots to talk about today. So let's get right into it. Let's start first with our monthly numbers. So July numbers, as I told you, lowest stitching numbers that I've had in a long time. No big deal. There was quite a few memories being made. So 11,065. You guys know, or if you are new, my brain works in kind of two baskets, full coverage and non-full coverage. My full coverage usually carries the day. The last 2 months, it has not. So my full coverage numbers for July were 3,596. And so if you're already doing the math, 7,469 were my non-full coverage numbers. Kind of crazy that I had almost over double non-full coverage, but you're going to see some great things. And I've had a couple of finishes. I had a finish that I showed last week. I've got 2 finishes. Well, one finish for sure, one goal met, and another piece of a finish. So anyway, we'll get to it eventually. So low numbers this month, but still a reasonable amount of stitching. Also, my July, I did Christmas in July. So I worked on a lot of Christmas pieces as well. Okay, let's talk first. I want to show you this bag because it is fabulous. And I talked about this back in April when I came back from my East Texas stitching retreat. This vendor was there. She had a number of items. And by all means, even if it's not something that you want to design your own custom bag and have her create that for you, she has lots of really fabulous color combinations, pattern combinations on different things. She does bobbin holders. She does the mats that you can lay out. She does all kinds of stuff, folios, bags, small bags, large bags, all kinds of things. So by all means, I would say the easiest way to keep track of her is on her social media. And let me show you what that is. That is the Golden Familiars. So this was the little card that came in my bag. The owner's name is Renee. She is wonderful. I follow her on Facebook as well as on Instagram. And let me tell you, you're going to see some beautiful, beautiful things. I think she has things that you can, like she'll create pieces that you can purchase, as well as be able to go to her website or contact her independently and then work out if you want to do a custom item. And I think she can do custom on all of her items. So, okay, enough of that. Let's show you the bag so you can see how fabulous this is. And you may have seen it online already, but there's nothing like holding it in person. Okay, here is my bag. I bought the extra large bag because you guys know I love a big bag. Can't have too big a bag. So, extra large bag. It is super long. It's great. This was the fabric that I loved. So this was my starter fabric. And I basically said, I love this fabric. Help me decide what else goes with it. She loves big, bold, bright, in-your-face combinations. I'm a little more subdued. So I just said, hey, I'm a little more subdued. Let's find something that goes calmly. Well, not calmly. Calmly is the wrong word. It's just a little less in your face. I really want this fabric to be the standout fabric. So she recommended, hey, and all of this was done remotely. So she would make up the color combinations, kind of lay it out, and we would talk through it. I also made some upgrades on this particular bag, which is super, super fun. Okay, so I will talk you through it all. So bag, chose this color. We decided to do this as the trim and then use the black as the straps, as well as I upgraded and did a leather bottom because I wanted it, you know, when you're carrying it around, you're setting it places. I also did these fun Tula, I think they're Tula pink feet. So those are super fun. I upgraded my zippers to pink zippers. So here, let me close it. Pink zippers with a pink pull. Super fun. So you can see that. The other thing that I did that she asked if I wanted is, do you want a luggage strap? Heck yeah, this bag is going on all retreats with me and I'm gonna have luggage. So absolutely, I did a luggage strap, which was great. So that's the outside of the bag. Absolutely adore. Let's look inside, and I'm gonna do my best to show you because it's deep. We added a zipper pocket inside, so that's super fun. That was a upgrade that she has started doing. And then these were in all of her other bags, just pockets. So nice big, I'm sorry, I'm wrangling it. Nice big deep pockets. Look how deep those pockets are. I mean, all the way. You can get quite a bit of stuff in there. And the one thing that I love that she does that you don't see a lot of are these little clips. Love it. Easy way to hold on to my keys. You can hook, I have like a wallet that I can put a strap on. Easy way to get put my wallet on the strap so that when I go to a retreat, I always have my wallet in my bag. and I feel like it's secured. So absolutely love this. I have not put it to use yet. I have been holding it and admiring it because I wanted to show it to you guys before I started utilizing it. But I will be taking a trip, it's probably about a month away, stitching in the wild. And so this is definitely going with me, and we will certainly give it a go. I'm going to link her down below. So you will be able to see, if you are interested, I will get you to probably her Facebook page, and then you can communicate with her from there. The other thing, if you are new to my channel, is if you go to the drop down box, I will do timestamps for everything. So if you're like, listen, I don't really care about your WIPS or whatever. Everything's going to be timestamped down below, so you can jump around. If you want to get right to books, you can go right to books. So that is something to keep in mind as well. Okay, so we talked monthly numbers. I shared the bag. I think let's talk WIPS. Okay, as I shared with you guys earlier, this was Christmas in July. So I have been working on a number of items since the last time I saw you. This particular item went with me on my trip to Illinois because I'm basically doing all the black first. And so I was like, this is super easy. I'm taking one color and I can just stitch. So it was great for traveling. What project are you talking about, Hallie? I'm talking about Victorian Santa. Victorian Santa is from Ivy Cottage Home, and it is been charted by Stitches So Beautiful. I am stitching this on a 25 count easy grid fabric, 1/1 with all the called for DMCs. And here is where I got to. So I am just working my way along this top, but you're really starting to see the framework of some of the design around the center, which has Santa in it. So I'm almost over to the other side, which is great. We're working our way there. I was able to put in, on my traveling time, 1,725 stitches. Hopefully I have a before and after. So hopefully you are seeing that. I'm really trying hard to do that. Not every project gets a before. Sometimes I have to go back and pull it off a video or something like that, but I really am trying. I am at 4.40% complete according to Pattern Keeper. This was a project that I started last year, so it is still new in its time with me. But I felt like I made some good progress on that. And it was fun to pull it out and start to see some of those frameworks come alive. And that black, I still have like, I don't know, 27,000 stitches in black. So kind of crazy. Okay, next is a finish. You guys, I got back and I decided it is time to get some of these things done that are Christmas. At the last video, I showed you Quicker Christmas 2 that got finished. On this one, I'm not even gonna put up the picture because I have it. Yay! 1 down, 3 across. So this is a long dog sampler project. I am stitching this on a 32 count even weave in the colorway navy. I am stitching it with 1 thread over 2 squares with B52 floche. You can go back and where I talk all about floche. Floche is a 5-stranded cotton thread that is just like a thread and a half of DMC with one of their threads. So there's a variety of DMC colors. They don't have all of them, but they have a good number out there. And I have a shop locally that does carry the majority of their colors, and it's wonderful. It's absolutely beautiful. It covered wonderfully with one thread on this particular project. So yay, yay, yay. Now, I will say, I know if you have worked a long dog sampler, I did put this into Pattern Keeper. When it did enter in, it did get a bit funky. What happened was, it basically, on one of the, you know, when it puts the pages together, on one of the pages, it took out a row. And I don't know what happened. I don't know why it did it, but I realized that it did it fairly early on. And I'm like, between that and then I took the same project and I put it into, I think it was not GoodNotes. Anyway, I put it into just a regular PDF and I could zoom in so I could count how many squares and compare it. And so I was able to manipulate it. I didn't stop using the Pattern Keeper. I just remembered where that one line, and it was somewhere almost in the middle where that weird line went. And so I just worked my way around it, but it's certainly something I've heard it from a number of people who did long dog samplers. I don't think it's in the newer ones. I think it's in some of the older ones, but just something to be aware if you decide to do it. So love it, love it, love it. This project was one of those that I had set for a goal for a finish by the end of the year. I basically had taken it, divvied it up, I think by 10, because I like to get done before the end of the year. And I was able to work ahead. I divvied up how many stitches were left and worked on it so much every month. So I'm happy, happy, happy that that is another completed project off my list and another goal met. So once I got to that, then I decided pull out another one because, you know, you get excited. You're like, ooh, I'm energized. Let's pull out something else that I want to make sure I get completed. So for this one, this is Winter Snowfall. Winter Snowfall is a Shannon Christine Designs project. I'm stitching this on a 32 count, picture this plus in the colorway Sterling. This particular project, she has in a multitude of colorways. I am doing the teal colorway and I'm stitching this 2/2 on the Sterling, the picture this plus Sterling. And I'm stitching it with the called for colors, which is basically 3 colors. Yeah, 3 colors. So that part is super easy. The hard part is there's a ton of white in this project. Now, if you've been with me before, like I said on before, I took how many cross stitches I had left, because in Pattern Keeper, it did not show you, it did not count the beads in the number of stitches. So I was trying to get the number of full cross stitches completed. And so I took that number, broke it up. I have now completed that. And because I was energized about that, I went ahead and started some of the beading. I don't know that I will actually get this fully beaded because there is a ton of beads on this project, but I was able to get it started. I figured out the thread that I'm going to use, and I'm just going to keep plugging away. And it may be something that I actually fully get finished by the end of the year, which would be great. If not, it'll certainly get finished at the beginning of next year, but it's super fun. So let's show you where I'm at. I still have it kind of in the Q-snap because when I want to pick it up and work on it, I want to be able to get right to the space that I am at. But let's show you what I was able to complete. Hopefully you have a before and after. So you can see I basically was working down here and I was finishing this border piece. I was able to get that completed. Once I got that completed, I'm like, okay, time to get going on these beads. So as you can see, I have put in a number of clusters of beads here. These beads got put in here. And then I'm like, okay, those are fine. That's fun white beads. Let's put in some of the gold because I think there's just the 2 colors. There's gold and white. So I started, and a lot of the gold is up here in the colored part. So I came over and I started putting in some of the gold beads. So super, super fun. I am absolutely loving it. Those beads, I tell you what, they just pop off of there. They really do add something. I kept thinking, I'm not sure what they're gonna add. Oh yeah, I think they add a lot. You can really tell when you get to them. So super, super happy about that. So I think I told you that I figured out, oh gosh, I dropped it, what I was going to use. I don't have any, I know there's some clear beading thread or beading, like clear floss, for lack of a better word. I think it's more of a plastic than a real floss that you can use to bead with, but I didn't have any of that. So I thought about using white. And then I'm like, sometimes you get those little tails if it doesn't lay right. And I'm like, what can I find? So I got to my stash, and I'll tell you what, it looks a little different here because the fabric is a little washed out. But this thread, I'm using one thread. And of course I am doing an X because I want my beads to lay upright. So I'm going across one way and then coming back and feeding back through so that it doesn't lay sideways. The bead actually lays straight. So it is getting a full X underneath there, which I'm excited that will secure those well. I won't have any problem with them falling off. So that's why I'm only using one thread. But this thread, it just disappears. Like you cannot see it at all, which is exactly what I wanted. What I wanted was for the beads to pop out. So I've been very, very happy with that choice. And we will just keep working on this a little chunk each month. And maybe by the end of the year, we'll be able to get this completed. But I'm telling you, there's a whole banner up at the top that's got a bunch of white beads. Every single one of these little star pattern things is chocked full of beads like this. This guy has got a big rack that has a big, what do you call those? Horns? Yeah, reindeers. That's got up there, that's going to be full of beads. All of these, there's white beads all dripping down through here. So there will be a lot of beads that get added to this. I think there's like 8 packs of beads that if you buy the amount that they recommend, it's like 8 packs of beads. So quite a few. So anyhow, that is where I am at on that project. So while it's not a finish, it's a completed goal. So this month, that is 3 completed goals. Now, I did have one completed goal that I did not get to, but I'm going to make those numbers up probably next month. In fact, I may start working on it later today. And that is for the snowman. And he's pretty close to being done. So he may actually, to complete the goal, he may actually be close to a finish. So, okay. So after I did all that, I'm like, okay, what can be different? What do I have that is not goal oriented? That's just, let's put some stitches, let's get some work done on something else. And I decided to pull out Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas is an owl forest embroidery project. I am stitching this on Color and Cotton Sandstone 32 count. I basically took probably a whole yard of it and I broke it up into squares based on the size of each ornament. Went ahead and cut them so they're ready to go. And then I'm stitching this 2/2 with hand-dyed fabric hand-dyed floss from Owl Forest Embroidery. So let me go ahead and show you. Here is, I got A done. So I have 2 letters left. This is the A in mass. And then I have S, and then there was an exclamation point, of course. So 2 more to go. So that may actually be a finish as well this year. Super happy about that. I didn't do there were a lot of these little guys kind of tucked into different places. I don't do all of those. I just kind of balance it out, put it in the big chunks, and then kind of balance the snowflakes out, because I'll tell you what, you could just go crazy with those snowflakes. But as you can see here, in the red and in the green, you can see quite a large variegation of those two flosses. That is why I chose the Owl Forest flosses, because I loved that variegation in those two threads. Almost everything else has limited variegation. You can see a little bit of variegation in the gold up here, and maybe just a little bit here in the brown, but it's very minor. And if it gets too much, I just kind of like manipulate it a little bit. But overall, it has been awesome. So happy to have that one done. Only have 2 left. So while it has not been a goal, it's been a goal in the past years that I have not gotten accomplished, but while it's not a goal this month or this year, it may be something that gets finished as well. Because when you get down to 2, you're like, get it done, knock them out. Numbers for that. It took 1,119 cross stitches to get that finished, and I finished it on the 29th. For winter snowfall, just to give you a little bit of perspective, 1,313 full white cross stitches was what was left. So I got that done and then started adding the beads. So, okay. Then for my last project, so I'm getting really close to the end of the month, and I'm like, what? I was feeling a full coverage, but I was like, which one do you pull out? And yada, yada, yada. And I decided to pull out Flowers of the Holy Night. I decided, let's not do a full coverage. Let's get some more non-full coverage work done. And this one, for whatever reason, spoke to me. So this is, Flowers of the Holy Night. I'm trying to think hold on. I'm gonna pull out my bag, because on my cheat sheet, I have the designer, but I don't have the name of her company. Yes, one of my favorites. I knew this, Glendon Place. So Flowers of the Holy Night from Glendon Place. And as you can see, I love ordering directly from Cheryl, because when she sends you these, she always dates them. So you can see I bought this on 8/26/19. So I've had this a while. I started it in 2020, you all. This has taken way too long. 5 years, and I'm only to this point. This is crazy. Anyhow, this one definitely needs to get some more momentum. And I really enjoyed working on it. It was super fun. I don't know why, but this time it really moved. And it could be that, I was working so hard on Sunflower from Glendon Place that this one wasn't calling to me. Where is my top? Okay, so let me show you where I got to. Here is where I ended up. We are moving right along. Okay, hopefully you've got a before and after, but let me talk you through. And sorry, there's a lot of fabric to wrangle here of extra that's gonna get stitched on. But let's talk about what we actually worked on. I had this guy all the way in, and I had these two like wingies, and this leaf fully in, like all the way out. I had the first 2 colors on all of these in, and that was it. So I went through and I added, this green and this real light green on all of them. So those got added in. And then I went and I added these little extra leaves on the ones that required it. So I got done with that, and I got done with that about right after dinner last night, I guess. And I was just watching some YouTube and doing my thing. And I thought, well, I'm gonna go up and I'm gonna start this next little guy that's up here and start working on that. And I was able to get 3 of the poinsettia leaves up there completed. So quite a few stitches. I've worked on this 2 days. 2,088 stitches got added into this project. I was rocking and rolling, and I'll tell you what, even just looking at it makes me want to pull it out and kind of finish this this guy up here. This is all going to get beads into here. I think there's probably beads along here as well. This is one of those that is heavily beaded, typical Glendon Place project. where you're using fancy floss, or not fancy floss, it's like Dinky Dye's silk floss, which is kind of fancy. I love Dinky Dye's floss. It stitches like a dream. It doesn't knot. It doesn't get twisted for me. I absolutely love it. And then it's just full of beads. So it makes it fun. It makes it exciting. Gives you something a little different. If you see my little red tee, I have talked about this. Oh, sorry, I've got a hangnail there. I have talked about this a number of times in different projects because I have stitched these mandalas where basically you're doing the same thing repeated. And in the past, well, particularly the first one that I did, and I think it was Birds of Paradise, which I had stitched. What I did was every time I just turned it. And so I kept doing the mandala, but I kept turning it. And then when I was finished, some of the times when I turned it, it was like quarter turn and not a full half turn. And my stitches were backwards. And I was like, oh no, I am not taking this out because it was finished. I'm like, okay, note to self. You need to mark your top and you need to be aware of where you're at. And if you do decide to turn it, you need to change your stitches accordingly. Or you just need to keep everything at the top and don't turn it and just work differently. So you will see, if you've been with me for any amount of time, I've talked about this ad nauseum because you don't, I don't want to look back at projects and be like, that was not good. But I also want to learn and I want to share my experience with you guys so that you don't have to make those mistakes. So every time when I decide to do a project that's a mandala, I mark where my top is in some regard so that I know when I'm working on it, which direction it needs to go, because I could just as easily have stitched it like this. And unless I'm really paying attention, when I picked it up and put it in my Q-snap, this way is no big deal because this was half, because see my T's at the bottom. No big deal. My stitches are going to still be fine. But if I do it this way, my stitches are going to, and you wouldn't know, like everything looks normal unless you're really paying attention to your stitches, the way you lay your stitches. So just something to keep in mind if you happen to do a mandala type thing, mark it, try and keep that into your head. A lot of times, because this is not in Pattern Keeper, so a lot of times I will take a Post-it note and I will put it on the back, and so that you can remember, oh yeah, hey, there's a top there. Don't just pick a spot and start stitching. So I told you this was Dinky Dye's floss. Let me tell you the colorway because it is all called for, because I think she does a fabulous job. It's just antique white Jobelin, 28 count. So, yep. Stitching it with all Dinky Dyes and a bunch of beads. So, yeah. Let me show you the bead pack just for fun, because I tell you what, a few treasures and a few beads. I mean, it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be outstanding. I can't wait to add these little guys, these little petite flowers and these little treasures. So it's going to be super fun. I'm super excited to see this come together. Oh yeah, they go in the middle, don't they? See, that's where they end up. And in the middle of all the poinsettias. How fun is that? So great. So loving, loving, loving this. Happy to have got some good work added in. Okay, let's talk books. As you guys know, if you've been with me, I have slowly gotten my way back into reading. I do a lot of audiobooks. I will do digital books on my Kindle app, on my iPad, and my phone. I will also do physical books. These two that I am going to talk about today happen to both be digital books. The first one is a new service that I have started to dip my toe into a little bit, which is called NetGalley. NetGalley is a group who publishers can go to and authors can go to who want to do advanced reader copies or ARCs to put out there to have some people read and give reviews on those particular items. So I went, got on NetGalley, created an account. It's totally free. You just need to be willing to read the book and give a review. And if you have any kind of social media, to post that on social medias. So here's where I'm talking about it. So I decided to jump in and I chose first the friendship list. The friendship list is a book that is by Beth Miller. I've never read any of her books before, and I decided that this particular book is probably what I would call like women's fiction. A little different. You know me, I'm usually a psychological thriller, murder mystery type, even cozy mystery, even maybe like fantasy mystery type person. So I thought, let's just do something a little out of my comfort zone. So I decided to do this. And I'll tell you what, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm going to give you a little bit of a review of it so you can kind of know what it's about. So if it's something you want to pick up, you certainly can. The friendship list is a story that really revolves around Kay and her friend Rose. They are best friends, have been best friends for years. And Kay has found a new man and is going to get married to this new man and does get married to this new man, Murray. And Kay, on her wedding day, Rose sends her a letter and says, "I'm not coming to your wedding." And she is heartbroken and she's devastated and she doesn't understand why. And she tries to reconnect with her friend and her friend has just really shut her out. And Kay goes on a reflective journey of a number of her friends and what has happened through her life to figure out what she's done wrong, what has happened, and why her and Rose are not friends anymore, or why Rose doesn't want to have anything to do with her. It is a wonderful story. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to tell you how it ends up and how it wraps up. It's a wonderful story. I'll tell you what, it's a story about love. It's a story about friendship. And so many times I was like, oh boy, I relate to that. I need to be a better friend. Maybe I don't need to, but maybe I'm a great friend and maybe that person is just no longer meant to be in my life. So it makes you even reflect yourself. It is a bit of a tearjerker. So if you're looking for that, definitely you'll find that there in that book as well. So I highly recommend. It was very entertaining. You're also laughing at some points. You're like, what? That's kind of crazy. So, but it was very good. It was very entertaining, easy to get into, and just very, very enjoyable. So I will say that because this is on NetGalley, it has not been fully published and is not able to be obtained until August 18th. So definitely put it on your to pick up at the bookstore, or definitely get it on your Kindle or whatever you read on. Absolutely. If you are interested in a story about love and friendship, I highly recommend the friendship list. It will be available on August 18th. So that's my first recommendation. Second one is back to my home base, psychological thrillers. This is The Girl Who Was Taken by Charlie Donnelly. I have seen this recommended a number of places. The one thing I would say, you can read the back if you want. Just know that it starts out with Megan and Nicole. Megan and Nicole are friends. They are like seniors in high school. They're getting ready to graduate and move on in their life, and they are taken. And Megan escapes and is found, and Nicole is never found. And you are approaching this story from Nicole's sister, who happens to be a forensic psychologist, and she is determined to find out what happened to her sister and kind of unweaves the web of lies and manipulations that have happened that told the story about what happened to her sister. It is absolutely fantastic. It's a little on the dark side. So if you're easily triggered, maybe check out the trigger warnings, but it is a fast-paced, little bit of turns, some twists and turns that happen in there. So if you like that kind of thing, which I love, I can't wait. I want a story to make a left turn and I'm not expecting the left turn. That's what I love. So, I think this was pretty close to doing that. Some of them I could see coming and some of them I was like, what? Back up. Let me rehear that again. And that's what I love. So I definitely recommend both of these. I would probably give both of them a 4.5 if I'm doing star ratings. And 4.5 for me is pretty close to almost 5. So definitely check those out. You can get The Girl Who Was Taken absolutely now, and then get the friendship list on your pickup list for August 18th. So, okay, hopefully that gives you something to keep you entertained if you're stitching or if you're wanting to pick up a book. So, like I said, I'm doing a bunch of reading lately and listening to stories, and I've really enjoyed it. And I do like sharing with you guys here. If you have a recommendation of something I need to read, put it in the comments. Absolutely. Would love to have any kind of recommendation. I read everything but horror. I'm not interested in horror. So, but and really not like, I'm not a love of dystopian things either. I love fantasy. I'm not big on dystopian type stuff. But, so if it's anything but that, drop it down below. I would love to pick up something new. I would love to get something new on Audible and check it out. So, okay. We have chatted a long time here. So I want to say thank you. Hold on just a second. I need one more sip or I'm going to start coughing on you. I want to say thank you if you've made it this far. I greatly appreciate you. I don't know what I'm going to stitch for in August, but sorry, I knew I was going to cough. Okay. I don't know what we're going to do in August. So check back with me in 2 weeks and we will see where I am at. Hopefully we'll have some more goals accomplished and have things moving along. So thanks again if you've made it this far, and don't forget, keep stitching those big things.